Good evening. Welcome to ACC Season 4 hosted by Indian Racing Community. This is the penultimate round where we head to the wet British countryside to Donington Park, one of my personal favorite circuits. Speaking of which, I am 8 Cylinders of Fury. Welcome to today's stream. We shall be going into the sprint race at Donington, and I'm joined here in the commentary box by Dan, SSJassasin. How are you doing?
Hi, it's and hello to the rest of the viewers as well. And yes, of course, I am doing quite well. Hope you're doing the same.
Yeah, man, I've been really looking forward to this one. Even though I'm a little bit salty that I can't get on track myself. Unfortunately, I was not able to drive this weekend. But this race has quite a lot in store for us, so it's going to be an absolute firecracker. We're expecting changing conditions, so within the span of 20 minutes, we might see at least one or maybe if not two changes in weather. So it's going to be crazy in terms of strategy, and I'm really looking forward to it.
So I'm not. This is a question from a person who is not really familiar with ACC. So are pit stops allowed in this game? I mean, tire changes and everything.
Pit stops are allowed in this game for sure, but generally in the sprint race format which IRC follows, which is in every race except the 3 endurance races part of the season, pit stops are optional. I mean, you don't really need to make one because the tire set will last for the maximum duration of the race generally. But yeah, pit stops are definitely allowed in GT3 racing, and you generally see it in endurance racing, where the tires need to be changed at the end of 1 hour or 2 hours stint, depending upon the wear on the tires. So yeah, you can definitely change tires on GT3 cars, and I think strategy there is pretty crucial in terms of when you pit and how much fuel you're putting and how, if you're changing your tires or not, or if you're repairing damage. So yeah, there's quite a lot of strategy involved in the pit stops. So definitely pit stops do exist in GT3 racing.
Of course, it was a pretty noob question of me to ask, but then yeah, like I said, I've not played any ACC at all before. And yes, another question. So like I said, if there are any weather changes, say the track gets wet in a matter of 20 minutes or whenever, will the guys have to switch to a different set of tires? Like, are there wet tires and then dry tires? Is there anything like that?
See, the way I see it, these guys have two options really, depending upon the weather conditions at the time, which they'll have to make a lot of calls while out on the track and racing, so it's going to be interesting, because in a shorter race, if you have maybe 5 or 10 minutes left in the race and it suddenly starts raining, you have to make the call on whether to lose time but pit onto the wet tires where you will be faster, or stay on the dry tires and just try to survive for the last 10 minutes. But more importantly, it's the inverse which is going to be more of a dilemma, because it's not really advised to go out onto a wet track with dry tires. It's literally like driving on ice. but you can survive on a dry track with wet tires. You can run them pretty hard before they reach that point of getting a puncture. So it's going to be interesting if there's 3 or 4 minutes left in the race and the track dries up. It's going to have to be a strategy call, because you might lose 5 or 6 seconds, per lap. But if you pit, you're going to lose half a minute or even more, depending if you have damage or if you have some sort of mishap coming into the pit lane, because Donington has quite an interesting pit entry as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see, and I'm really looking forward to it. But yes, tire strategy is going to play a big part in this race, assuming we see changing conditions.
Well, the only time I've driven in Donington is in these motorcycle racing games like Ride and not really MotoGP, but yeah. And I have to say it's a very fun circuit to drive on. It's well, sort of like what is that? The Brazil circuit. I'm not getting the name. Sorry.
Interlagos,
Yes,
right?
Interlagos. Yes, of course. Yeah, so sort of like Interlagos for me. But yeah.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. It's sort of very flowing and it's got a lot of elevation
Fluid.
change.
Yes.
Yep. It flows very nicely at Donington Park. And I believe in reference to motorcycle racing as well, I believe one of the corners is named after an ex-MotoGP rider as well. I believe just as you come through the Craner curves, I believe one of the corners is called Schwantz Curve, which is named after Kevin Schwantz, a 90s MotoGP rider. So yeah, definitely both evidence of MotoGP history here, as well as car racing history as well. So yeah, Donington really is one of those tracks which can host many different types of racing. So it's very multifaceted in that nature. Not many tracks out there can claim to be very good on bikes and in cars. I believe Spain, Catalonia is one of those tracks which is terrible on bikes, but terrible on cars, but is actually quite good on bikes. So not many tracks out there which offer great racing in both cars and bikes, but I believe Donington Park is one of the few.
Yes, I have to apologize here. I think the quali session has started. We might have missed a few minutes of it. Let's just quickly jump on there, shall we?
All right, we'll go ahead and hop into the quali session. Ooh, and the quali seems to be dry. Ooh, this is going to be unlike F1, where we have the dilemma of needing to choose between setting a high down, because you have parc fermé in F1, where you have to run a fixed setup throughout the entire race weekend. This game doesn't have that. This game does not have any kind of limitations on parc fermé. You can change your setup anytime you want, so you can pretty much run a dry setup during qualifying if it's dry, and then you can run a wet setup during the race if it's wet. So in that aspect, drivers have got freedom. I think we can go ahead and turn off the racing line, no?
Oh, okay. Let me just check. I thought it was on or by default. Okay. Hold on.
I think you'll find it in assists.
Assists, yeah,
Yep.
sorry.
Ideal line off.
Line is hidden. Okay.
There we go. Beautiful. The ideal line in racing games is just there.
On? Okay, it's still on for some reason. I don't know why.
You'll have to press confirm at the bottom, and then it'll accept. It'll save the changes. You have to save the changes first, and then you can ideal line hidden, and then press confirm at the bottom.
Okay, I did that, but it's still showing up. I don't know. It's some sort of bug. Is it
Interesting.
Interesting.
That's the first time I'm seeing that, but yeah, I think we'll just stick to the cinematic cameras then if that's the case, because the driving line doesn't seem to come up on the cinematic cameras. But in terms of the championship, it is getting very, very spicy, because the standings in both Pro class, AM class and Silver class, all three classes are separated by just a few points. And after Deepak Raj's double podium at Bathurst, I believe it has become quite narrow in AM class as well. So there's a lot to fight for this weekend. Obviously, the championship is not going to be resolved for any of the classes this race weekend. We're going to have to wait until Suzuka Enduro next weekend for that to happen. But it's going to be quite crucial to start on the front row here because overtaking is a bit of a challenge around this track. Not many straight sections where you can get close and overtake. There's probably one or two overtaking spots. Turn one as we're coming through here with Amit Kuti, aka I am Amit. We are going through the Craner curves, very, very fast sweeping section here as we're coming to the end of qualifying. A 126.7 from mid seems to be separating him from the rest of the pack. Jackster making a return to the grid after a couple of races, currently occupying the front row. Masoom, I do apologize. I believe Davli Singh is on pole position right now. Amit is in P4. My apologies. Davli Singh with a 126.7 with the pace to set and the time to beat for the other drivers. In terms of the top 5, it's all occupied by pro drivers, clearly showing that their standards are quite possibly far above the rest of the field. Although no more pro player in the silver class is not that far behind, only 8/10 off in qualifying. Although I do believe he's got quite a bit of experience around this track. SSJ, just switch to the F3 camera, the cinematic camera is using F3. We won't have the driving line here. Or, oh wow,
Wow.
damn, it's even worse here.
Okay, I think we might have to change switch sessions before it goes away, but this is weird.
This is weird indeed. But something I do want to point out to you is that the silver class battle is also heating up. I'm a little bit bittersweet that I'm sitting here in the commentary box, not participating in the silver class championship currently in this race. But the person to keep an eye out for is indeed Kapil going into this race. I think that's the end of qualifying, so we'll have to wait until the session changes over. But yeah, good qualifying session there. I believe Davli Singh managed to lock out pole position, and Jackster was not that far behind him. Yep, Jackster only 2/10 off. Masoom just behind him. Amit in P4. Although, if one thing that I can say about Masoom is he has the capability to come back and cut through the field during the race. He's got excellent race pace, great consistency, and I believe Davli Singh in the past has been plagued by hardware issues and disconnect issues. So he's finding it hard to pick up victories this season. And as a result, he has fallen back a little bit in the standings. But this should be a good chance for him to redeem himself. Touch wood, he doesn't get a commentator's curse from me. Although at this point it's almost entirely likely that he does. A lot of drivers returning to the field in recent races. We're seeing the return of Faizan, Dwajin, Tegis 1 as well. A couple of these drivers have returned to the field. They are a little bit off the pace, but that is fine. We do seek participation, and that is what we are going to applaud. So Faizan currently rounding out the field. 17 drivers currently available for today's race, and it should be a right cracker. As we see the weather report, it seems to be fairly clear for this first race, so we're going to have to keep an eye out for the second race in terms of the mad weather that we were expecting. But in terms of championship predictions, it's too early to say right now. Everything can change literally at the flick of a button, quite literally, because we are in a game, obviously. So if you press the wrong button, something can go wrong. But Masoom seems to be the favorite to win the championship again, as he's in the championship lead. His main championship rival, Sai Prithvi, has been unavailable for the last couple of races, so we've seen him pull a little bit of a lead in the championship standings. But anything can change, as I said, and one incident can totally turn this championship battle on its head. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm sure you are as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been witnessing the ACC event since the last, I guess, Zandvoort. So, not really sure who's leading the championship. But yeah, I have seen a few of the good guys here, particularly Masoom, and yeah, I did get to see Sai Prithvi racing once, and he was quite good, of course. Well, let's not also discount I Amit, who is a legend in his own right. He's also, I mean, he is a real life esports driver. Yeah, pretty talented lineup we've got here. So yes, only time will tell who comes out on top.
Yep, Masoom's currently got a 40-point lead in the championship right now. It may seem not actually, in retrospect, that doesn't seem like quite a lot. Masoom really does have to put up a great performance here. And we can already see him getting very, very cozy with Davli Singh's rear diffuser here, inching forward as close as he can to the rear diffuser of that Lambo as we come across the line, and we are green and we are racing. Davli Singh gets a decent start. Jackster has to defend his inside coming into turn one. Masoom may take advantage of the open door. Oh, not quite. Jackster managing to hold that P2 as Amit Kuti runs a little bit onto the gravel. He'll have to lose and concede a couple of positions there. He does. Masoom has comfortably slipped into P3 and Panda is on the attack as well in P5 on Amit Kuti. And there's a car spinning in the background. I believe that is Piyush Gandhi dropping back a little bit. The updated standings will come up in a second. If we can just switch to the interval cam very quickly. Just press I. Yes, there we go. Yep, there we go. I believe, yes, Piyush Gandhi has dropped back to the back of the grid. Unfortunate for the Aston driver, and this has allowed Kapil to slip into P7. Some driver has gotten a mega start here. Oh, yes, it's Pro P. Pro P has moved up a couple of positions now, is up into P6. I believe he's displaced someone at the top. So I believe, yes, it's Piyush Gandhi. He's displaced Piyush Gandhi, so he's moved up a position. This might be a good chance for him to seek that maiden silver class podium. I believe
somebody went into the wall there.
That was a disconnect, I believe. I believe that was a disconnect, and I believe Masoom has No, Masoom, no, I think you're right. I think Masoom may have gone off because he's still in the race. He's just in P10.
He's in P10.
Oh, dearie me. This has been a major shuffle up. Don't know quite what happened there. I think Masoom may have broken on the grass or had a big moment coming through the chicane. But yeah, that's Masoom down into P9, and indeed, as I was mentioning earlier, the championship battle has really hotted up. We do see on the front of that Ferrari there that Masoom is running, we are seeing a bit of damage. So it might affect his front downforce, which is not quite good for Masoom because he relies a lot on setting up his cars to be very twitchy. So we can see a lot of rake running on the Ferraris. So we should be seeing a little bit of a drop off in terms of front downforce, as he's right up behind Helium now in the Aston Martin, having to defend desperately against Masoom as Masoom tries it round the outside, going through the Kreiner curves, coming into Schwann's curve as well, as we head up now over the crest of the hill into... I've conveniently forgotten the name of this corner. I did remember just before the race. I was thinking Druid, but Druid's... Oh, Panda's gone off as well. Panda's had an incident coming through the corner. Coppice, yes, I've remembered. Coppice corner as he comes over the crest. Panda's dropped back massively as well. And tell you what, I believe No More Propi has slipped into the podium places now. Jackster has made a mistake as well. Jackster now currently in P6. And I believe Amit Kuti has made a move for the lead.
Yes, he is
has.
in P1.
Amit Kuti running away right now. What has happened? Davli Singh looked comfortable in P1, and yet something has changed. Something, while we were spectating the battle at the back, has caught everyone off guard. And I think I know why. I think everyone has been making their setups expecting to have some rain during the races. And I feel like there might have been something in their setups which does not... I mean, to be honest, they're probably setting up their cars for both conditions, but I don't know, something's happened somewhere. Masoom, again, not the type of driver to make mistakes. Panda, not the type of driver to make mistakes. Jackster as well, who might be a little bit rusty, but a very capable driver in his own right. So I'm definitely a little bit confused as to how so many mistakes have happened on just the opening lap alone. We have seen a massive number of changes in the standings, but guess what? There's going to be a chance for some of these pro drivers currently stuck back in the back to make a comeback drive through the field. You have to clip the inside curve going through Coppice corner and stay flat on the throttle. Very crucial to keep the foot planted through there, because otherwise if you lift off you risk disrupting the aero balance of the car. We see Jackster's driver there fully focused, sitting on the wrong side of the car, and let me tell you, as a Bentley driver, you have to completely relearn every track pretty much. As he dives down the inside of Kapil, there's a little bit of contact. That was not expected, but Jackster is trying to get on with things as quickly as he can. Kapil having to concede the position. Will he slot in behind or choose to make him go around the outside? He does, and Jackster touches a little bit of the grass coming out of the final corner as well. This will not be going to Jackster's. It's not how Jackster would have imagined this overtake going for him, and it's not how he would have imagined the race. And now Masum's behind him flashing as well, asking him to get a move on. Although I believe that is not Jackster, that is Tegis one right behind him. Very sorry, they're both in Bentleys. It's a little bit confusing as I saw someone behind Worship the Panda. I believe it was Kake getting a little bit on the grass. Very important not to touch the grass, especially at turn 1, because it can very easily give you a puncture. Another aspect of this track which I like a lot, which means you have to kind of tiptoe around track limits here and there, because if you hit the curb too hard, especially if you're not in something like a Bentley, which literally rides on some air ride suspension, I don't know how it can take curbs that well. But currently, right now, Kapil battling with no more pro player. This will be a chance for him to get up into the podium places. This is extremely bad for the Silver Class Championship, and I'm absolutely heartbroken that I'm not in it. But Kapil is trying to fight for the final podium place right now with 14 minutes left in the race. There's a yellow flag somewhere. Is it up ahead? I don't think so. SSJ, if you can just switch to the full track map as well, as Jackster absolutely lunges towards Kapil's rear diffuser. If you can just switch to the full track map if we can.
Where do I do that?
Options, HUD, and then circuit map enabled, and go one more option to the right.
Yeah.
There you go. Confirm. Should be good to go now.
Oh, yeah.
We have the full track map. Let's go. We can see Donington in all its greatness, but more importantly, we can see if there's an incident ahead of us or behind us. But right now, Kapil is in a delicate position because he has to prioritize between going at no more pro player and trying to make an attempt on that podium. But you have to keep in mind, this is a double sprint race, and the problem with that is even if you make all the moves in the first race, you can lose all your progress in the second one. Something that has happened to not only me but numerous drivers, where you make a great siege up the field in the first race, and then you have an unfortunate bit of contact, or you get a DT or something. I'm not sure. Donington is one of those tracks which is crazy for dishing out track limits, so I don't actually know. The chicane coming after the straight is very notorious for giving out warnings, but I think that's the only place where you can get warnings. Generally, the other places you lose a bit of time. But Panda has something to think about here, as he has Helium all up in his rearview mirror. Helium trying to get into the toe. He has a little look up the inside, but chooses to stay behind just for now. This is great racing between everyone. Apart from the little mistakes that we've seen on lap 1, there hasn't been much contact. There was a little bit of a forced attempt from Jackster trying to move up the inside of Kapil, as Helium just tried there. But now Helium himself has a problem because Panda is being held up by someone ahead of him. So I don't think this is a case of Panda being slow. I think this is a case of some of the silver drivers ahead of him not being right up to the pace of the pro drivers. So this is going to be an interesting dilemma for Panda as well, having to defend from Helium, who's right at his back door saying, let me go, man, I'm faster than you. But Panda has to try and convince him that I'm not fast, I'm not slow, mate. It's the guy ahead of me that's holding everyone up. As we see a big kick of gravel thrown up there by one of the Ferraris. I believe that was Masum, really testing the track limits there as he goes side by side through the Craner curves. Down the inside, will there be contact? Ooh, brilliant racing there, but Jackster has to go off track. I was expecting either contact or an off track there from Jackster, the outside line. Not good through the Craner curves. Definitely jeopardized himself a little bit there by giving Masum the opportunity to slip up the inside, but Masum has executed that to perfection. Now all he has to do is chase down the drivers ahead of him. Kapil and Propi currently about 1.5 seconds down the road. This has been an intense first 10 minutes, and we haven't even seen any kind of variation in weather yet, which is what I was expecting to be the major highlight of this race. I need to catch my breath.
Well, the weather itself shows that for another 30 minutes, for up to 30 minutes from the start, it's just mad. At the most, it'll be cloudy. So, yeah, it'll be a disappointment for the drivers who've set up their cars for the wets, for a wet session, as well as for the viewers who will probably miss out on a lot of entertaining racing.
Indeed. And this is going to have major repercussions on the championship standings as well. Masum obviously having dropped back a little bit, not massively, but still enough to dent that lead that he has at the top. It's currently being hunted down by those two drivers currently sitting in P1 and 2 right now. The gap between them has increased. Amit slowly pulling away, but tell you what, no more pro player is right on the back of Davli Singh, showing some great pace, the silver driver, and he could be looking at a P2 finish right now as it stands in sprint race 1. This is great racing. This is Kapil trying to chase down no more pro player. Oh, my apologies. I believe that's the gap between Kapil and Propi, not Propi and Davli Singh. I believe there's 8 seconds separating those two drivers.
Yes, I was just about to point it out to you.
My apologies,
Glad
but
that you
yes,
realized it.
Kapil right on the back of Propi right here. Kapil showing some great pace in this initial phase of the race. Diving, trying to have a look up the outside, trying to make Propi take a compromise line through the chicane. Propi, though, knows exactly what to do. I was just mentioning a little earlier on in the stream, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, Propi has quite a lot of experience around this track in this car, having done a 12-hour endurance race around Donington with a couple of other IRC members. So he knows exactly how to handle this track in this car, and he knows what to do. So Kapil has a real task ahead of him if he's going to make Propi succumb to the pressure, but he's right there filling up his mirrors. And Masum's had another incident. Masum's dropped down to P9. When has this happened?
Okay, we might have missed that out. And look at that. Does he? I think he's accumulated more damage.
That Ferrari is looking very, very, very damaged right now.
Look at the right side.
I believe there's a car in the pit lane, Raja.
Yes.
I think if we can go back in the replay and have a quick look at what happened to Masum. I'm not sure. He's had a very torrid first half to this race. Not quite sure if he's made a mistake with the setup or not. I believe he was mentioning earlier that he was planning on running a wet setup in anticipation of a wet race, but I believe he's having a little bit of a struggle, and that's another position back. He has to do all that overtaking again, having got past Helium, having gotten past Tegiswo, and having got past Jackster. He now has to do all that work again. Heartbreak for Masum right now, as he has to go right back to step 1, basically step 0, and all the work has to be done again.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, returning from the great result that he got last week with a win, with a P2 in the first sprint race and the a P1 in the next race, following race. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It should be a big disappointment for him. Well, the race is still not over. We still have another 8 minutes to go. Yeah, and knowing Masum, I don't think he's gonna let it go. Let things go the way they are right now. He's definitely going to fight to get back those positions.
Yep, definitely. He did pick up a P2, P1 last time around in Bathurst. A very impressive race in both races from him, doing really well. In first race, he was just 4/10 behind Davli Singh in the final standings. But now the track is getting a little bit cloudy. I don't know how, but the weather forecast has suddenly changed from sunny to cloudy. So the clouds are starting to close in a little bit. Are we seeing the first instance of a weather change? We might not be seeing it immediately, but we might see it towards the last 1 or 2 minutes of the race. If we see wet conditions, it's going to be absolutely insane. But I have more hopes for the 30-minute sprint race coming shortly after this, so do stay tuned. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Myth currently leading away from Davlish, only 2.5 seconds separating the two of them, and then a 10-second gap back to No More Pro player, who's currently gotten a little bit of a gap on Kapil as well. I believe about a second or so between the two of them right now. Propi having pulled away a little bit, but Jackster right at Kapil's doorstep right now, ringing the doorbell pretty much, and just asking to be let inside as Helium has picked up a drive-through for track limits. That will be another position for Masum, but more importantly, Helium's going to drop back quite far, all the way back to the back of the grid almost. I believe he is participating in a endurance race today or tomorrow, I believe. So I can imagine he's been preparing for that as well. That's in Suzuka, so might not be the best. Might not be the best idea for him to have done this race today with very little practice, but he's doing it anyway. He's done valiantly till there, but he's dived into the pits. Yes, he has to serve his drive through, and he'll have a nice clean slate and start from the back in the second race. And luckily, Donington also has a fairly short pit lane, so he's emerged right in front of Deepak Raj, having lost not that many positions. He's only lost about 3 positions in that whole escapade, so pretty lucky for him that Donington has a fairly short pit lane as well.
Well, speaking of Deepak Raj, I'm quite surprised. I'm shocked that he's ended up so far back in the grid. He finished quite a lot in. I think he finished P4 last race in the last event, if I'm not
Correction, he
mistaken.
got two podiums. Two
Got two
podiums.
podiums.
He
And
qualified P4 and capitalized from some bad luck on Amit's side. I believe he had some network issues or something on his side, so he had to end the race prematurely in race 1. And then in race 2, anybody who had any kind of remote chance of challenging Deepak for the podium pretty much got taken out on lap 1 by an incident. So yeah, unfortunate for the rest of us, but yes, Deepak picked up two penalties and two
oh, look
podiums.
at that!
Big slide there from Deepak as we were right on board with him. Ooh, he smacked that tire quite far as well as he rejoins the track, having lost no positions whatsoever. He started in this battle in P14 and he's still in P14.
Well,
Faizan
he
quite far
doesn't
back in
have much to
P15.
lose. Yes, yes. He's 30 seconds ahead of Faizan, so yeah, doesn't really
He,
matter anyway.
so he's got another DT and still he'll be ahead of Faizan when he comes out. Davli Singh currently 2 seconds off Amit. I think he'll just choose to stay behind Amit right now and finish this race behind him. But Jackster has made a move on Kapil as well somewhere because he is right now on the purchase of No More Pro player who'll want to defend this podium for all his life. But this isn't the second race, which is what carries greater number of points. But a podium is a podium for No More Pro player. He dives to the outside. They'll be side by side going through the chicane. Propi has to give position. What a move from Jackster. Timed that perfectly. But now he'll have to defend the inside from Propi coming into the final three corners. Very, very, very good overtake of extremely good quality from Jackster, just positioning his car to perfection, and credit where credit is due to Propi. He gave him the space. We've seen in the past, I've definitely seen in the past in Donington, people have gone side by side through the chicane and one of them inevitably ends up in a wall. So Propi very considerate to Jackster right there, and Jackster has clawed back a couple of positions. He won't get the P2 that he started the race off in, but I think he'll take the P3.
Well, he'll definitely be happy with the way things are going for him. Of course, a brilliant move from him on Propi. Definitely both. Clean driving from both of them. Like you said, not to end up in the walls.
I think.
Yeah,
Go on.
go on. Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Propi was just aware that Jackster would go for that move. Jackster obviously has a lot more to lose in the Pro Class Championship than Propi definitely does. So Propi is just playing it safe, and I think he just chose to kind of not be too aggressive on the defense. Obviously, he tried, but tell you what, though, that battle has helped Kapil as well, who sees P4 within his reach. Piyush Gandhi definitely was the main contender for Kapil coming into this race. Propi as well. But this is going to be really, really interesting in the second race how Piyush Gandhi does, who has himself clawed back a couple of positions now into P9. He definitely has the pace. And it's going to be very interesting for the Aston Martin driver in the second race. I think he'll be pinning all his hopes on that. Dvajan also has done a very good job, having not done too much practice coming into the race weekend to hold up P10 in the standings. So good performance from him as well. He's finished ahead of Masoom, which is absolutely insane. And I believe Helium has also had a little off because he is currently behind Masoom, has just lost a position there. There he is, and Masoom now has a lot of work cut out for him to make the comeback in the second race. That Ferrari very, very damaged. Not quite sure what happened in the early part of this race. We might have to have a look later on, but we come into the final 2 minutes of this race. This has gone by in an absolute blur. 20 minutes has gone by like no man's business, and that is because this race has been super duper entertaining for us. Two cars currently standing in the pits. It was only one earlier on in the race. We have now got Starboy as well in the pits. Unfortunate for the Ferrari driver, but yeah, the second race is going to be really balanced on a knife's edge. A lot of interesting things to keep an eye out for, which we will talk about in the interval between the two races. Kake has done very well as well, getting up into P8, currently sitting in the AM class, currently P1 in AM class in the current race. And I believe he's P1 in AM class in the standings as well. So a lot to play for Kake. His main championship rivals are, I believe, Deepak Raj and Slayer. Slayer on keys, who's not in this race, as Piyush Gandhi picks up a drive through and has to drop back a little bit further. I think he'll choose not to serve it and take the 30 seconds rather than diving into the pits right now. Although I'm not quite sure. This is all good news for Masum, meaning less cars for him to have to dispatch in the second race. But unfortunate for the Aston Martin driver who thinks about diving into the pits and then decides not to dive into the pits. Let's hop back on board Amit. I believe we're coming down to the last couple of seconds in this race. I think this will be the last lap. Yes, it will be as he comes across the line. This will be the checkered flag for him. He's done a good job starting P4 actually. He started P4, made up quite a few positions, has timed. I don't think he's actually had to make that many overtakes. I think he's just benefited from a lot of incidents up ahead of him, and he's kind of gotten a free shot at P1, but he's held on to it very well, pulling 3 seconds clear of Davli Singh in the end. Both of those drivers have lapped Faizan. They are coming up to lap the other drivers right now. But Jackster is going to be pretty happy with himself as well after dropping back a little bit in the initial part of the race. But Amit Kuti comes across the line. Amit crosses the line to take P1 in the first sprint race of today. Davli Singh comes across the line to take P2. And Jackster, now coming through the final corner, had a little bit of a scuffle with Kapil and also had a bit of a scuffle with Dipanshu. Good battle from him. He comes across the line to take P3. And I believe I briefly saw that Kapil had come across the line to take P4. No, I was just imagining things. But no, yeah, Propi has come across the line to take P4 by the looks of it. Yes. Kapil takes P5. I believe Tekis 1 got P6.
The leaderboard's all messed up. I don't know who ended up where.
I think we'll wait for the final driver finishing order to come up, and that will be a better reference for us rather than waiting for all this to happen. Piyush Gandhi, as predicted, did not serve his DT. He chooses to finish the race and will take the 30 seconds. This will be added on afterwards. So I think because of that, I think that is everyone has finished. I believe. Oh, Amit is still on track apparently.
Okay. So what does this mean? Like, I mean, now it's showing that it says that Piyush Gandhi is in P3, or like the number next to his name to the left. Like, what does that mean?
No, I think that is just the timing tree being a bit messed up right now. I think we'll get a final race standings in a second, just before the server is restarted. So we will see the final race standings come up very, very soon.
So
This is a bit bogged right now.
yeah, everybody's in the pits, so that is race over.
It is race over. It is race over. I think we can return to the garage and then we'll get a nice clean rundown of the top 10 or will it be? There you go. There is the final race standings. Myth takes the win in race number 1. Davli Singh finishes P2. Jackster come back after dropping back earlier on in the race. No more pro player in P4. Kapil in P5. Worship the Panda also having a couple of incidents finishes P6. Tekis 1 in P7. Kake in P8 as well. Masum with a lot of work to do in this second race finishes P9. And this is going to be a very, very interesting race in the second race. That is going to be intense.
Just give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Yes, of course. SJ, just switch to the. There you go. We are currently in the intermission between both of the races. Race 1 has just elapsed. Amit comes through to take P1 after starting P4 in a great race from him. But I believe he has benefited more from the luck of or the lack of luck that some of the other drivers have had. A couple of drivers having incidents early on in the first race. Masum having 2 incidents. So really, lot of work left for Masum to do in the second race, and more importantly, I think there's going to be a big shuffle up in terms of the championship standings as well. I believe there's only 40 points separating the two drivers. So as the standings currently stand now after race one, I believe Amit may have even taken a slight lead of maybe 10 or so points in the championship standings. So a lot to play for in the second race, and I think it's going to be an absolute firecracker, this one. So do keep an eye on the chat as well. A couple of people in the chat have been talking during the race, so we'll just go through it right now. Rishabh Chaudhary asking, where is Eitzel? Hello! I am here. I am in the commentary box for the race. For this race, unfortunately, due to some technical issues on my side, aka the lack of a steering wheel, I have not been able to do this race. Bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. And my main championship rival couple is currently in P4 in race 1. So bittersweet for me sitting here watching him basically eat away at the championship lead that I've accrued. But that is racing. Sometimes things happen. So it's going to be interesting. The last race of the season definitely going to be very, very crucial. Masum adopting Tottenham Hotspur ideals, basically getting into great positions and then bottling it later on, definitely. Couple is nudging PP. Okay, that can be taken out of context. I believe that was the intention of the statement in general. Yes, he was constantly on Couple's rear or on Propi's rear diffuser. So really good racing from all of them. I believe my highlight of that race has to be Jackster and Propi going side by side through the chicane. Definitely some great racing to be expected. Oh, sorry, great racing on display and great racing that I expect in the second race as well.
Well, yeah, my favorite move was the same as well. I mean, I know I've said this already, but yeah, it's just that itself was the highlight of the whole thing. The way they kept it, they managed to keep it as clean as possible, like without bumping into each other too much while still keeping within track limits.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Couple has just come up in the chat saying, hello Eitzel, how do you like my points? Sir, it is going to be like Niki Lauda versus James Hunt. I'm going to sit at the side and watch you agonizingly take away all my points. But it's going to be a very close finish. I bet you it's going to be a very close finish. Congratulations on your P4 though. That was a great race from you. Oh, P5 rather. That was a great race from you. Just reading a little bit up the chat. A lot of people were very pissed off with us, SSJ, for using the racing line. Don't worry, we have resolved it since then. We are not using the racing line anymore. Comments. Nice racing, new guy here. That is Ghost, another member of IRC as well. Good to see that he's enjoying the racing on offer. I believe he's also the Season 1 champion of IRC in ACC. So a veteran, let's say, of ACC has come back to watch the young boys fight it out. But yeah, I've got lofty expectations for the second race. I think it's going to be a real spectacle for us in the commentary box, but also there's going to be a fair little bit of influence on the drivers, on the standings as well. And if weather has any part to play, then it's going to be even more of a for lack of a better word, it's going to be an absolute cluster beep. I think that's the best way I can describe this next race, if weather has a part to play. But I believe the first race has been a little bit of a letdown in terms of the changing weather. I was expecting there to be like 5 minutes rain, 5 minutes dry, 5 minutes rain. I just want people in the VC exploding like, what the hell is going on? But then that hasn't happened so far. But it should happen in the second race. 30 minutes gives a lot more time for the weather to change. And it's going to be very, very interesting. What about you, SSJ? What are your things that you're looking forward to in the second race?
Things that I'm looking forward to. I don't know how do I answer to that, but what I would really want is for, what everybody else wants here at this point, which is rain.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, of course, a bit of slipping and sliding here and there. All that kind of stuff which I typically see in F1. Of course, I think it will be much easier to control a car a GT3 car on a wet track. I'm not really sure since I've not done it. But yeah, I would love for some kind of a wet Fiesta. Don't take it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can definitely take that out of context, and we will. But yeah, it's going to be a wet siesta, as you said, a damp siesta. Let's say. I don't think there's a chance of heavy rain. I think it's just going to be rain, but very unpredictable rain. It's like weather that wouldn't even be possible in real life is going to happen in ACC. Our coordinators have really whipped up a mean session. With ACC, you can't really, set a certain session. You have to play around with the settings and see what the unpredictability is like. And the coordinators have sat down and they've really made it a proper hellhole for these guys. If the weather turns out to be that way in the second race, I believe the practice servers, it has been constant dry, wet, and everybody was like, I have no idea how to set up my car. I have no idea how I'm going to survive in the race. That is what I came here to see today. And even without the influence of weather, we've seen some great racing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw some of the guys who are the top fraggers, falling so low, being so much down in the grid, and some of the so-called underdogs almost taking the podiums. So yeah, like if the rain, we didn't need the rain in the last race to get that the entertainment that we were looking for, and I hope we have similar kind of we get a similar package for this race as well.
Yep, I think the person with the most work to do in the second race is going to be Masoom, having had two big incidents, a lot of damage on his Ferrari towards the end. But we did see a lot of pace from him, even though that was the case. We've seen a couple of, we've seen Masoom show some great pace in the past, and he's done well under adverse conditions and adverse factors as well. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on, I believe, is Masoom's trying to cut through the field is going to be something to keep an eye on in the second race. He's got a couple of silver drivers and AM drivers ahead of him. Whether or not they will choose to fight him, we will have to see. But I think in most cases they will try to fight him because every point matters in these championship battles. And I also want to mention a little bit about Violent Gandhi, who also had a lot of pace coming into the race weekend. So it's going to be important for him to quickly dispatch the traffic as soon as possible and get up close to Kapil and the other guys up ahead and try to fight for the last remaining positions. Just give me a second, SSJ. I will be right back.
Yeah. I think we picked the wrong time to leave the session. The session is about to start. We just have a minute and a half. So, yes.
Don't worry, I'm back. I'm
Oh,
back.
well, you literally took just a second.
Okay. I know. I just needed to reach over for my bottle, which was halfway across the room, but I needed to get up for that.
So, the race, the session is about to start. We have a minute and a half left to go. So, if you can see it, yes, we have the
Yep.
lineup with us.
I want to see how many people Deepak Raj dive bombs into turn one, all to play for in the AM class championship as well. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This is going to be an absolute bomb of a race.
So, enlighten me on this. Who's like, which ones are the AM class ones and which ones are the other class? I don't know which one's the
Okay,
other class.
so let's see. So the drivers with their number in white, these guys are the pro guys. So these guys are definitely the ones setting the pace in every single session. So these guys are, I would say, about 5 to 8 tenths faster than the rest of the drivers on the field. So these are your pro drivers with their numbers marked in white. The numbers marked in silver, that's your silver class. Like a dark grayish color, that's your silver class. So Propi, Kapil, Tegis 1, Dwajan, all these guys are part of the silver class. The final class, which is the amateur class, is marked in red. So people like Kake, Deepak Raj, couple of names at the bottom there. These guys are all AM class drivers. So these guys are fighting in the AM class championship, and most of the times these guys are maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds off the pace per lap than compared to the pro drivers, and about a second a lap slower than the silver class drivers. So this has been done to ensure that there is something to play for everyone, because unfortunately the sometimes in these large grids of GT3 cars, the difference in skill level is quite different. The difference in skill level is quite large in some cases. So you might have a driver that's 2 or 3 seconds off the pace of some of the faster drivers. So to give them something to fight for, the class system was adopted. We had 2 classes last season, but due to the emergence of more drivers this season, we've had to include another class as well, just to incorporate them as well.
Well, viewers, if you think that it's just an educational session, for me, it's not just for me. It's for the newer subscribers, the newer viewers, the new viewers to IRC's content as well. So yeah, keep a sharp ear for Aitzel's classes, and there we go. The race has started.
Green flag. Davli Singh got a massive start,
look
but
at that send! Look at that send from Panda. Did you see
Panda
that?
has absolutely sent it round the outside.
He's jumped 3 places.
He's basically gone, thank you very much, I'll take that. I think Masoom should be taking a couple of notes from his book, because I believe...
look at that. Somebody's spun out.
Oh, is that Masoom?
No, it
I
wasn't
don't think
Masoom.
that
It was I think it was Jackster.
Oh no, Jackster
man.
again! Jackster again has to fight through the whole grid. Luckily this time he has a bit more time, and he's definitely got the pace, and right now he'll be seeing the red mist in his eyes. So the red mist has indeed descended for the Bentley driver. As a fellow Bentley driver, I'm very, very sad that that's happened. But Worship the Panda has capitalized massively. I wonder if there was contact between Panda and Jackson, which has resulted in that. But he comes through, filters through the chicane, coming up to the last couple of corners here. Panda gotten a mega start. Kapil has also hopped. No more pro player? No, I don't think so. I think Masoom has hopped. Kapil going in.
Was that a Lambo facing out of the whole track? I think it just went off the track, like off the world.
Oh, Davli Singh is crashed or disconnected.
That was Davlish?
That was Davlish, yes. That was Davlish.
We've got that on stream.
Worship the Panda has now moved up into P2. Pro P into P3.
He's jumped 4 positions in
what's
one
happened
lap.
to Davlish Singh?
I think he's
my question is, I think Davli Singh has disconnected. Oh my god, he's disconnected. Oh no. I was really, really hoping that nothing would happen to him this race. He's had such a bad run of luck this whole season with disconnects, everything, etc., etc. I'm seeing his team notification pop up saying he's opening a Assetto Corsa. So that's exactly what has happened. Either his game has crashed or his internet has died. Very, very bad goings for him right now. But Masoom going very side by side through Schwann's curve, now coming up to Cop is inside of Propi. Will Propi try to stick it around the outside? He goes on the grass. This will give Couple a chance to slip it to P4 as well. And they make contact. Very, very spicy. Who's that? That's Helium coming through. He gets 2 positions up into P4. Let's go.
So many drivers. And look at that. Who's that? Who's that diving?
Deepak as well. Deepak has slid in. Deepak and Violent Gandhi is now there as well to ruin Kapil's party. Kapil, in all of his in all of his enthusiasm to make up the positions, has really let the door open here. Even Propi has somewhat negotiated the incident and he's gotten away, but now Kapil is having to fight from Deepak, who slips it down the inside. Oh, has outbroken himself massively though, and so has Propi.
What is
going on?
Deepak is out. Oh no.
What is going on right now?
This is so chaotic. So much. Holy moly. I mean, chaos is not the right word. Oh man.
This is only masala, man. Only masala.
Masala, yes.
Kapil in the span of half a lap has lost 2 positions. Helium in the span of half a lap has gained 2 positions. Piyush Gandhi in the span of 1 lap has gained like who knows how many positions. 7. He was started in P14, P15. He's up into P7 and right on Kapil's tail right now. Kapil going door to door with no more Propi just ahead of him as well. This is an intense battle right now for that for all the top 4 positions. Masoom has gotten a great start to his race. He's gotten a clean run and he's gone up into P3 away from all the silver class guys. He has gone the ideal start. And there is Lovely Singh, the man who started in P2, currently sitting in the pit lane in P16. And as Myth comes past, he will be 2 laps down on the rest of the field. Absolutely crazy stuff. Myth is currently having a Sunday drive in Donington right now, enjoying the weather, enjoying the views. Speaking of the weather, currently cloudy on the forecast for the next 10 minutes, but we could see that change at any point in time.
I'm sorry, Aidsel, I just had a little bit of a distraction on my end. I think I missed out on a bit of action. Did I? You have to enlighten me.
No. All these guys have been very closely following each other. I mean, no action compared to what we saw on the last lap. But these guys have been closely following each other for the span of 1 lap and just trying to just settle into the race a little bit. 25 minutes left to go, and all these guys are still scrapping for positions. Couple really getting close to the edge of the track there.
Oh my
Propi also.
If there was any settling in that needed to be done, they should have done it in. Oh man, this action is the action is still going on.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of those battles that go all the way till the end. Couple trying to look up the outside. Will he persevere around the outside? He will. Massive, let's say, balls right there from Couple to hold it around the outside. He's actually compromised Propi's run through Coppice, and Propi has to go straight past the chicane. Hopefully, that's not going to be a DT for him. That's Piyush Gandhi as well as hopped them both. Raja will also get a little run on him. Will he look to send it down the inside of Propi? Propi having to defend the inside. There's contact between the two of them. Propi swings outside, and I think Starboy also tried to get through the gap. No, Propi closes it off quickly. Starboy switches to the inside. Will he look down the inside? He does. But will he outbreak himself? That's the most important question. He doesn't. Raja does outbreak himself.
Propi's out.
Starboy has spun Propi around, little bit of contact, caught red-handed right on stream. I'm telling you, man, it's not just the stream, it's not just commentators' curse, it's streamers' curse as well.
No. Don't fit this on
every time we go on board a car, they lose it somewhere. Oh my god. Piyush Gandhi now contesting with Couple. This is going to be an interesting battle, definitely. Now, 3 Aston Martins contesting for the rest of the positions. Now, Piyush Gandhi currently in AM class. I think that's a scam. I think he should be in silver class. But let's go. This is the kind of racing that we want to see, and the pro guys are going at it as well. Leave Amit aside, he has pulled a little bit of a gap, but behind him, it's popping off, because right now Panda has got something to think about in that Masoom is right behind him. I'm very sorry, I was distracted because someone has picked up a DT. It's Couple.
It's Couple.
Couple has picked up a DT. Oh dearie me, will his overconfidence after the first race come back to bite him? He was just saying, look at my points, and now his points are going away. I'm so sorry I had to do that. Couple has picked up a DT, most probably for track limits, as Piyush Gandhi has made a mistake as well. He's dropped back a little bit, but he won't feel as hard done by it, because I think he's definitely got the pace to pick it up and bring it home as well. I think he's got the pace to come back into this race later on.
Well, probably he should be. I mean, Kapil is quite a decent bit ahead of the rest of the field. I mean, probably from the guys who could threaten him from the back of the grid. Okay, I'm not really sure how it's gonna work out for him. But yeah, it was quite unfortunate for Kapil, and of course quite fortunate for you as well, because Kapil will be dropping a lot of points now, which will be advantageous for you. Pretty sure you're celebrating inside. So I think we saw a bit of dust coming. I think it's from the guy ahead of Kapil. No, within the 4.5 seconds, he was racking up, throwing around a lot of dust inside. I don't know what happened there, to be honest.
I think it's not fair of me to want to wish bad luck on other drivers. I think that's not sporting from my side.
Of course,
I think I can hope for bad things to happen to Kapil, but I would never wish it upon him.
I mean, yeah,
I think
that would be very unsportsmanlike, and I'm pretty sure that none of us are like that. But then, yeah, if luck, I mean, we would definitely want luck to favor us in certain ways.
Yep, Kapil right now having a big dose of bad luck, as he's picked up a DT from that initial phase. But he will have time, nearly 20 minutes in hand, to not only serve that DT but also get up ahead with the rest of the drivers.
So I probably think that he's looking to extend that gap between himself and the rest of the field. Otherwise, he's got 30 seconds. He will lose 30 seconds otherwise. Knowing Kapil's pace, he probably will not lose many positions even if he doesn't end up going into the pits for that drive-through.
I mean, Donington has a fairly short pit lane as it is, so he won't be losing too much time, maybe 20 seconds at most. And if he's got the pace, he can definitely close up. But for him, at this point, I think it's going to be a matter of how many positions he loses, because each position he loses, he has to overtake back again later on. And they're not going to be as, let's say, as pliant and as obedient later on in the race as they might be during the early phase of it. So if anything, Kapil should be serving that duty early on right now.
Well, like you, if you say that the pit lane, the time that he would lose for going through the pits is 20 seconds, and obviously the math is quite plain and simple.
Indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, it would do him good if he pits as early as possible to avoid losing time.
Tell you what, though, someone who's done a very, very good job so far, just based on what I'm saying, we can get drawn away with some of these bigger battles, but someone who's done very well is Raja, who has moved up into P6. I think this has been his highest position ever in a race so far, so fingers crossed he holds that position off.
Oh.
It's been some time for him to get used to that push, but I think he finally has gotten into the groove, and there Kapil serves his drive-through as well, so that's another position for Raja, who moves up into P5.
So I moved off of Raja because I did not want to give him the streamer's curse, especially since you said that it's his highest ever position. So
Yep, we will not be looking at Raja for the rest of this race.
Yes, I will.
We'll only be looking at him as he crosses the line to finish P5.
So Kapil has dropped down to P14. He's just 4.5 seconds from Dwajan.
And now it causes a problem because the drivers who may initially think, okay, maybe it's the early in the race, maybe if it's got faster pace. I think there was someone on the grass, not quite sure who that was. We saw a driver briefly going onto the grass there, but we'll stay on board Masum, who I believe has gotten the overtake done on Panda. I think Panda was the driver going off the track. I think he had a little bit of an issue coming into the chicane.
I was switching cameras, so I probably might not have picked up that, but yeah, these two are really fighting it out. So yeah, probably might have been an incident where one of them had gone off. Yeah.
I think we're seeing a couple more Porsches on the grid now as well. As a Porsche fan, I'm very happy to see that Panda, Casey and Raja have picked the Porsche this season and have all stuck with their car choice as well. So really happy to see that from all these three guys. And they're doing well as well in this race, so we won't jinx them. Raja as well is in a really good position,
He's
but
gained a place. He was in P6 last time we saw him. Now he's in P5.
Yep, because Kapil pitted for his DD.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So he gained a position there due to track position. So right now he has only Starboy and Piyush Gandhi to think about for the rest of this day. I don't think he'll have the pace. Maybe he does have the pace to catch up to Helium. Currently about 8 seconds off, but that's not a lot of time considering how much time we have left in the race. So if he can really get in some good laps, which I think he's definitely capable of at this point, Raja can catch up to Helium. But more importantly for him, there's faster drivers behind him in Piyush Gandhi and Starboy. So that's going to be more of a concern for him at this current point in the race, because those two guys have shown that they have a lot of pace on this circuit.
Well, Piyush Gandhi is not going to be giving Raja any peace for a long time, because I'm sure he is closing in on him a bit by bit. The last lap he was around a little above a second off. Now, okay, I don't know what it is, but I think it's the timing board that is glitching a little bit. But yeah, the gap is reducing, and I'm pretty sure Piyush will be behind Raja's diffuser, close to his diffuser in no time.
I think one of the virtues of a great racing driver is, even if you're not on the pace, even if you do not have the space or the car or the tires or whatever it is to keep the driver behind you, if you can position your car properly and deal with the pressure appropriately, especially at like a track like this where there isn't many overtaking opportunities. As Piyush Gandhi makes a little mistake and Starboy slips up into P6, and I think Nomor Propi might also have a good run on him coming into Schwanz curve now. Uphill corner, he leaves the door open a little bit, and Propi capitalizes massively, and he's gone off again. That's what I'm talking about. It's all about managing the pressure behind you, ahead of you, not pushing too hard, too early, just prioritizing where to make the moves. That McLaren of Normal Propi has taken a massive beating somewhere. Absolutely covered in scratches everywhere, man. Really, really, that's sad to look at as a person of mechanical sympathy. That is very sad to look at. See a car that's that damaged.
Interesting choice of words there, it's but yeah, I mean, we all know how he got those, those battle scars from the first, the incidents from the first few laps, of course. But yeah, Propi won't be the only one with these battle scars. I'm pretty sure it's half of the grid, because we saw so many incidents in that
Yep,
starting
I
race.
think Jackster would have a couple of scars on his car as well. Speaking of Jackster, I believe he's quite far down the. Oh, I believe he's left the
He's left
race.
the race. If two people have left the
Ah,
race. We started with 17 drivers when we're down to 15. I
a
think, yeah,
certain Mr. W. Singh is also
Davlish, yeah,
disconnected.
Davlish has also probably left the race.
Unfortunate for him, man. I really wanted him to have a nice, clean race where he doesn't have any kind of incidents. But something always ends up happening to the guy. Either he last time in Bathurst, I believe he has some kind of an issue as well. I think in Kielami, his pedals died on the last lap, so he lost the race win by just 2 corners. So really, really unlucky season for him. But right now, the Bentley hopes are being carried forward by Tegis One. I believe he's the only Bentley in the server right now. Go, man, go! You're
Is he?
carrying on.
Yes, he
He
is.
is. Normally, it would have been me and Jackster as well, and maybe SC as well if he's normally in the Bentley. But this time, it's only Tegis One in this race, and he's doing a very good job in P11, currently holding off some of the drivers behind and catching up to Casey ahead as well. Oh, someone's made a mistake up ahead. Raja's moved into P4.
Yes, it's Starboy and Raj are fighting out. Oh, look at that.
Masum's disconnected.
Oh, wow.
Masum has disconnected. We have only 14 drivers currently in the server. Masum has disconnected. Oh no! That is going to massively change the course of the title. That is going to massively affect it. No points at all in this race currently for Not So Masum, because he's not even in the server right now. If he has to join back and get started, he might get those last few points at the tail end of the pack. But very unlucky from him there. All the drivers going off. Starboy currently up into P4. Raja tried to go side by side through Schwann's curve, having to push him to the outside. A little bit of contact, but he pulls out of it as Propi comes
Oh
absolutely
man, that was
bombing
too
through.
close. How did he manage to stop that car on time?
In the legendary words in every single vehicle all over the world, objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear.
They got too close for comfort.
Indeed.
Oh
Yep,
man,
really close. They're absolutely insane.
that was amazing braking skill from Pro Pete. To stop. I mean, he was coming at quite a lot of speed, and man, and how he managed to stop that car in such a short. I mean, in that distance without locking up it takes quite a lot of skill.
Okay, we've got a little bit of clarification on Masum's situation. He needed to leave due to a family emergency, so he didn't disconnect. I believe something's come up for him, so he's had to unfortunately abandon the race. So he's retired from the race, not disconnected. So retired would be the right word. But regardless, that's going to be a massive impact for him. But obviously, family comes first before anything. So hopefully, it's nothing too bad. As the
Yes.
race currently stands, Myth is, wow, really enjoying his Sunday drive right now. Nearly 14 seconds clear of Panda right now. But Helium with a chance of picking up his maiden podium, not only in this race, but in his ACC career. From being a DT, having gotten a DT in the first race, he's now in the podium places. And this is going to be a battle for the age. Raja versus Nomor Propi, who has gone off the track, and Starboy as
Oh.
well. We no, no, Raja.
What?
That was not warranted, my friend. He's doing the gentlemanly thing of waiting for Propi to rejoin, but that could have been avoided if he had just
Oh,
kept
careful,
his.
careful. Oh, he almost hit Kapil as well.
Oh, yeah. Starboy in to P4, but now Raja down to P12. That was going so well for him.
I
But
I probably switched to the wrong guy. I think I gave him the curse.
actually, no, we were on board with. Oh, yeah, we were on board with him as he came through the Schwann's curve. Okay, yeah, that might be our bad. The streamer's curse, commentator's curse. Ooh, as Kapil makes a good move up the inside of Propi, who's lost quite a. Actually, Propi's had another incident. He's dropped back quite far. He was fighting with Starboy. Yeah, he dropped back because of the contact coming through Coppice, of course. But Piyush Gandhi now moves up into P5, Kapil up into P11, Deepak in P9. Actually, Kapil moves up into P10. We've lost another driver. Only 13 drivers currently on track.
Um, I don't think I don't know who it was that we lost. Probably we'll have to check the replays for that.
Someone else has disconnected or retired from the race by the looks of it. Panda, the top three seem to have been unchanged as Raja's having even more incidents. Oh dear me, the contact was almost inevitable there as he loses. Oh, that was Casey
That was
actually, not
Casey,
Raja.
Casey and Tech as
That
well.
was they're using the same livery, so it's kind of a little bit confusing for me between Casey and Raja. But yeah, Casey as well. Ooh, no!
Oh,
Pick off for him. Will he hit the wall?
I think
Keeps it
he's
off
had
the
a
wall, and he's hit the wall.
suspension issue.
Oh, dear. Bottomed out on that
Look at
curb on
that.
the exit
Is
of
he
Coppice and
celebrating already?
victory donuts for Casey there.
Oh no, he's gone into the pits. Probably had a
He's gone
suspension issue there. Otherwise, I don't think he would have just randomly spun out there like that.
Yeah, you are right. You are right there. So now we have. I think Casey has also left the server. Yep, he was briefly in the pit lane, but he's now retired from the race. Only 12 drivers right now, and Helium up into P3, Starboy up into P4, Piyush Gandhi in P5, Kake P6 as we move down the order. Someone in the middle, I think Jackster disconnected very early on, or retired rather early on from the race. Someone else has had an off somewhere because we only have 12 drivers currently, so we've lost 5 drivers in this race as it currently stands. Not quite sure where they've all gone, but yeah, we currently only have 12 drivers with 8 minutes left in the race. This is going to be pretty crucial for Helium to hold on, but I think Helium's pretty comfortable in those podium places right now. That is Helium right there as he comes through the chicane, heading now down into the double right-hander. Oh, there's a yellow flag ahead of him. I believe that is Faizan, though not for position. Panda and Mita quite far down the road. Mita is actually coming through the Craner curves again. So he's got a massive margin on the rest of the field right now, nearly 14 seconds. It's just been about conserving the tires. I don't know if anybody else is seeing this, but in the weather forecast, it says we have rain coming up in 30 minutes. Interesting. Could this maybe factor in at the last couple of minutes of this race? Could we have some rain? That could really mix things up a lot. But I think right now, if everybody stays on this, I think nobody will dive into the pits for the wets. I shouldn't imagine anybody will. But yeah, Piyush Gandhi, even after all the incidents that he's had throughout the race, he's still holding P5.
So I'm not really sure, but did he start P9 or?
He started P14 or P13, I think, because he served a TT right at the end of the last race. He didn't serve it, actually. He got added on to his finishing time because he chose to not serve it at the end. So it got 30 seconds, got added on to his time. Actually, it would have been smarter to take the TT because the 30 seconds is a fixed, constant penalty for any track, whereas this track actually has a fairly short drive-through. So maybe you would have saved some time in serving the drive-through rather than taking it by not serving it crossing the line. But, very sideways there from Kapil, but he holds it around the inside. Now right on the bumper of Deepak Raj. He has the slipstream. Deepak positioning his car well, though, not giving Kapil too much room to navigate. Kapil having to slip back in behind Deepak. Very, very good defense there from the AM driver. Definitely a very, very skilled and experienced driver, Deepak Raj, just finding himself in the wrong car. The Nissan quite far off the pace and quite a handful in the wet as well. So I think he'll be praying to his lucky stars that the weather doesn't change towards the end of the race. Oh, his Kapil goes very deep.
That was close. That was some reaction, man.
I think that was more a case of Deepak braking a little early rather than Kapil braking late, because Kapil still made the corner even though he had to take evasive action right towards the end. Whereas I think Deepak may have taken that corner a little bit too slowly. You can see the Nissan struggling a lot coming through turn 1 there, just running a little bit wide now, coming through the Craner curves, not hitting the apex on the inside at all, and absolutely eating the apex on the inside there as we come through turn 4. Important not to run through too wide there. Coming through turn 5, stick close to the inside, run out wide, coming through Schwann's curve now. Oh, he'll cover the inside. I don't think he even had to do. That's not really an overtaking spot. He's compromised himself unnecessarily coming into Coppice. He'll hold the outside. He'll try to get a better run through the corner, which he has done. Deepak's run slightly wide coming into Coppice, and this will be a drag race. It's going to be Japanese Nippon Steel versus American Her Majesty's Aston Martin coming down into the chicane. Deepak will hold the inside line. Will they make it through side by side? They're still going. And Kapil just choosing to show a little caution, having to concede the position. But we saw really, really good racing skill there, good racing mindset. And he's got a smart mind, Kapil. He's just setting.
Propi is right behind them. Oh, this battle has managed to help Propi. So gain so much time to both of them.
Yeah, 4 or 5 seconds trimmed off in the last couple of laps for Propi, who's definitely got the pace, even though that that McLaren is very, very crippled right now. Raja as well has managed to recover well. He's up into P11. So really good race for him regardless, but this is a good battle, something to keep an eye out for. Will Deepak be able to hold on to that P8 for the rest of this race? Will Helium be, I think Helium will hold on to his P3 as well, but will Starboy be able to hold on to his P4? I believe there's only about 7/10 separating him and Piyush Gandhi a little further up the road. But yeah, I saw really good evidence of Kapil's racing experience there. Oh, he's rejoined. He's rejoined in such a way as to completely disrupt Kapil's flow through that corner. A little bit of smart thinking there as Propi makes a little bit of contact with Kapil's rear. There's a little bit of argy-bargy going on right now, but yeah, they've all managed to somehow keep their position without losing much time. I think Kapil had to slam on the brakes, seeing that Deepak was rejoining the track. I think that might be contested. Maybe there might be an appeal or a report lodged for that. So yeah, I was gonna say there's gonna be a huge drag race. I think Kapil has gotten a slightly better exit out of the chicane. He might look up the inside, or maybe hope that Deepak Raj outbreaks himself again. That happened in the last race. He looked for the cutback, looks to the inside, slips up, but he'll now have the outside line for the final corner. Maybe he'll choose to slip in back behind Deepak and look up the inside again, which he briefly looks for it, but chooses to stay behind Deepak. Deepak doing a very good job of defending, apart from that little off-track moment at turn 4 where he rejoined under, let's say, questionable circumstances. This is a great battle, but every time I say Kapil has a good racing mind, he ends up racing, so I have to again talk about him racing. But we saw Kapil setting up the overtake so many corners in advance. He's already playing with Deepak Raj. He's looking up the inside consistently and just almost make it unpredictable for the Nissan driver to predict where Kapil will try to make the move. And as a result, he just ends up defending everywhere, even though Kapil's not really going for the move, hence compromising his own line. That comes from experience. So you can see that he's looking to set up the overtake. Ooh, that's very wide there, well held on the grass.
That was almost a slip up. Big bots from Kapil. I mean, here he's kept it quite consistently clean, or well, on track, but man, that was a one-off from the entire race.
Seen a lot of great overtaking action. I think a lot of drivers have just been a little unlucky with off tracks and DTs and whatnot, as Kapil again making up so much time under braking on the Nissan. Again, Deepak will have to defend the inside. Last minute and a half left to go here. This is a big battle for P8. Piyush Gandhi also. Oh, Piyush Gandhi on that last lap was 4 tenths faster. We can quickly go on board Piyush Gandhi. I believe they're having a little battle as well, side by side, coming through turn one. This will be the last opportunity. No, I think there's going to be another 2 laps, so he'll have 2 laps to get the move
I
done.
think the race is over.
No, we still have a minute left. Myth is
Oh,
coming across the line now, so he'll start his last lap now. So Piyush Gandhi and Starboy will have to go on for another lap. We'll just stay on board this battle because this is definitely the most interesting one, the one for the best of the rest, Formula 1.5, as the Formula 1 fans would say. Whoever's not finishing on the podium, it's a separate race for them because that's just how a couple of seasons have been. In that the the midfield teams have not been quite on the pace of the front runners. So the more interesting battles always happen behind the podium, which is usually occupied by the same drivers every time. But that doesn't seem to be the case here. There's someone gone off ahead. I believe that's Faizan. He's blue flag, so that will also play a lot into Starboy's defense. He'll have to plan to get past Faizan at the optimum moment. Piyush Gandhi looks around the outside. Starboy defends the inside line well. He'll have to defend again here coming into the final corner. Important not to outbreak yourself here. He's done it a couple of times in the past. Ooh, we have seen Piyush Gandhi getting so close to the rear diffuser of that Ferrari, under braking, much more confident on the brakes than the Ferrari. As we see, they head on to the final lap now. These guys are heading on to the final lap, and Myth is coming down the back straight right now, about to finish the race. But we're going to have to stay on board with this battle right now because Myth's Sunday drive is, it's not really very action-packed, let's say. Myth now filtering through the last corner. He'll come across the line to take the win, but the more important battles are currently happening quite far back in the pack as they come through Coppice Corner again. Both of these guys absolutely door to door right now. And that's Faizan ahead of them. That's Helium ahead of them actually. But Faizan is going to be quite a little bit of a roadblock here. Worship the Panda comes across the line to claim P2 in this race. Myth has already finished in P1 and gone to the pits. Helium will come through the final corner. No, he's coming through the chicane right now. Is that Piyush Gandhi going for the overtake?
no! He's killed him.
No. Why would you do that, my friend? Why would you do that? That's not the way to get the position. And Starboy has lost P5. He's lost P6. He's about to lose P7. No. I think he's just rejoined the track there. He in P7. I believe someone has disconnected because directly it goes back to P9. Interesting. Oh, there's a three-way battle, and Kapil has gone off the track as well in his attempt to get past Deepak Raj. He's let Ropey slip through. Deepak Raj now on the outside. There's a three-way battle coming into the last corner. They've tagged Deepak. Deepak's been straightened out. Oh my God!
This is just being at the right place at the right time. I mean, at least for the streamer's end. Oh no!
Oh my giddy aunt. My word, what an end to the race that was. Dwajin also now coming across the line. I think everyone's finished pretty much. Yep, I think everyone's finished. What a race. Oh my goodness gracious me. Helium has picked up his first podium of the season. Damn. Wow. What an intense race. There is your final finishing order. Amit Kuti P1, Worship the Panda P2, Helium P3, Piyush Gandhi in P4, although that might not be the most might not be the most gracious P4 he's ever taken in his life, but P4 nonetheless. Kake P5, his best finish in AM class, but to his luck, there is an AM class driver ahead of him, so he won't have P1 in AM class. Teg is 1 in P6, Starboy P7, No More Pro Player P8, Kapil P9, quite far down in the silver class standings, and there the session comes to an end. I think that was Raja in P10, or Starboy in P10, or Raja in P10, not quite sure. But what a race, what an absolutely mad race, and yeah, absolutely intense. Let me just try to get some of these guys into the commentary box. If I can here.
Hold on. let me just see. So we'll be interviewing all the drivers from of every class, right?
That's generally the way it works. So I'll try to see if I can get these guys in here. So I believe it was who finished P3 in silver class. I think it was um,
It was Tegis one. No, it was Starboy. Yeah, it
Cowboy
was
finished.
Starboy. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll try to get some of these guys into the port. So Violet Gandhi finished P1 in AM class. Helium finished P1 in silver class. Um,
And
I'll
Myth,
also get.
obviously.
Yeah, I've tagged Myth already. Let me see if I can drag some of these guys into the VC right now. So I believe Myth is here. So we will drag and see if I can drag him.
Yes, he's here.
Yep, just starting to get some of these guys joining the commentary box right now, and I think we'll start off with the winner of the race, Amit. That was a Sunday drive for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, nothing much to say. I guess the leaders just took themselves in every race. They took themselves out. They
I
just left me to drive.
Yeah, indeed. In the first race, it was you started P4 behind three guys, and then they all pretty much just fought amongst each other for some time, and then you just got a nice clear run into P1.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone in the voice chat was just having their own discussion about.
Yeah, quite a lot to talk about after this race. Lot of incidents, probably a lot of reports incoming as well. But a good race from you. I don't think there's much to talk about in terms of strategy either, because unlike what we were expecting, both races were completely dry. So yeah, I mean, great race from you. I think because of Masoom retiring from the second race, I think you inherit the championship lead as well. So
No, 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 no. I'm really far behind. I'm
eh,
nowhere near.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, as it stands, Myth is just in P5.
yeah,
I mean,
Masum
all
is
to play for, huh?
Masum is nearly twice the number of points
yeah,
ahead
exactly.
of Myth. Well, either way, a great drive from you, Myth.
Ah, thanks, bro.
We'll now then come to Worship the Panda, who had quite a few coming togethers and quite a few off tracks in both races. Panda, are you there?
Yep. Sorry, what was the question again? Sorry, I was on a call.
Nah, I was
Yeah.
just mentioning how you had a lot of coming togethers in both races, but you ended up on the podium. What were your thoughts on that race?
So race one, I got like everybody ahead of me, like Mid said, was fighting and scrapping away. And Jackster and Davleesh, I think, had a big incident. And I was just about to slot behind. I guess Amit was leading the race, and I was gonna slot behind Amit and get P2. I got so excited I overshot the corner. I was like P2, and then I overshot the corner. So
That would have
after
been
that,
eventful
basically,
for you.
yeah,
Yeah,
after that
definitely.
I had to make a few moves, so that was fun.
I think in the race too, I think on the opening lap, me and SSJ were just losing it because everybody is taking it so cautious through turn one. Then we see this Porsche bombing it around the outside, like making up like six positions in a single corner. And then
Yeah,
combine that with all the unfortunate incidents up ahead. I believe we lost the Singh due to a disconnect, and Masum retired as well. So you've made it onto the podium. Another one for your
yeah.
collection
I
this
was
season.
I was having some good battles with Masum, but he had to leave the race because of some emergency, I guess.
Yep. Yep.
But
And
yeah, I mean, pretty good race. Bit
yeah,
lonely second half, but
yeah. I
first
mean,
the first half was fun
the Jardier strategy is going very well for you then.
for sure.
For sure. Great race from you, man. P2 to in the pro class as well, P2 overall. And then we come to Helium, who picks up the final podium place. I believe this is his first podium in ACC as well, if I'm not wrong, Helium.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, great race from you, man. And once again, it feels like a lot of drivers, you were another one of them who just capitalized on everyone else just making a mess of themselves.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what was happening. By the time I reached the place where they were crashing, they were just like on the grass and it just went straight.
Yeah,
It was
it was
a very
literally like
boring race for me.
it was like you had DRS and they didn't. You just like shot past all of them coming by onto the straight.
Yeah,
But
kind of. That's
uh,
pretty
great
much the
result from you considering in the first race you picked up a DT as well. So good comeback drive from you, man. Well done.
Thank you, thank you.
I believe that rounds off the podium. We'll briefly come to the AM class winners as well. We'll come to Vailan Gandhi, who finished P4. Vailan Gandhi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Uh, I think that last overtake, that little bit of contact with Starboy will be something that will be looked at a lot later. But regardless, that's a P4 for you. Well done. How was the race for you?
It was a good weekend. I mean, first race I crashed. I mean, on my own on lap one, and hopefully avoided the chaos that happened in the second race, not taking other people out. And yeah, second race I just got lucky. I mean, a lot of people took themselves out, and I was just on the inside of turn two and three, and I just went through. And the last lap incident was, I mean, majorly due to a backmarker car. I mean, it happens. Yeah,
I believe in the first race you it compounded your misery because you picked up a DT as well. So at that
yeah.
point, what was your thought process going into race two?
I mean, just just I had the pace actually to be more ahead as well. I was just losing so much time battling, but yeah, I mean, all's well in the end.
Yeah, man, great finish from you. I believe that's your first podium in AM class as well. Great performance from you. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
And finally, we come to Kake, I believe, who finished P5. Kake, how was your race?
Yeah, man, just free positions, nothing else.
I think
First
I think that
race,
has been the mantra of this whole race for a lot of drivers.
You get a
yes,
position. You get a position. Everyone gets a position.
Position.
Yes, that was
yeah.
pretty
Like
much
considering how
the
the
story
race,
of the
second
race.
race started, I fell down to I think 15th or some place, 15th, 14th, and then just some people kept dying, some got drive-throughs, and couple of overtakes, and yeah, P5.
Yeah, I think it was just a case of Donington not being a fantastic track for overtaking, and a lot of drivers who want to overtake each other always brings up a great battle. It's like a lot of fast drivers behind slow drivers in Monaco. It's just them trying overtakes in stupid places, and then it ends up backfiring on them.
Yes, yes. I was like in race, I was behind Deepak for a couple of laps, but then he just went eat out of turn four. And then again in race one, someone, sort of pit maneuvered into him. But yeah, free positions. I'm not complaining.
I believe I'm right in saying this is your highest finishing position in
Uh,
your ACC career as well.
I think, yeah, Spa, I had, I think, P6, 6 or 7. Yeah, this is the highest.
I think more importantly for you, the rather than position, you finish ahead of both Deepak and Slaya, which means your championship battle is going to go right down to the wire in Suzuka. So that's something to keep an eye out for, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Once again, great race from all of you guys. Amit, Kake, Gandhi, all of you are currently in the VC. Great race from all of you. And I think that is going to be where we call it a night. Dan, any closing thoughts on that absolutely intense night of racing?
Well, I'd just like to thank all of them for keeping me busy. Otherwise, I would have probably slept off while streaming. Probably
Oh,
not
yeah.
slept off at least, but yeah, I would have started having my dinner. But yeah, uh, my stomach is growling right now, so I have to hurry off to have my.
Ah, of course, of course, of course. I see how it. So thank you guys very much for joining us. Do subscribe to the channel, like the stream if you did enjoy it. There's a lot more stuff coming up very, very soon. New season of F1 starting as well. So a lot of content returning to the channel. Lots to look forward to. That's going to be it from our side today. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, and we will see you next time. Take care. Good night.
Good night to